There once was a man who, essentially out of a fear of death, chose to split himself. He wanted power, and this division of himself seemed promising. He wasn't going to die. He would do whatever it took to live. Though this description could apply to Voldemort, I'm speaking of his servant, Peter Pettigrew, a man who, like his master, would split himself if that meant avoiding death, would do whatever it took to survive. Drawing on the notion from Mary Douglas's book, Natural Symbols, that the social situation is mirrored in bodily symbols, the body can be viewed metaphorically as a text to be read as a symbol of its situation in the social world. The character of Peter Pettigrew is conveyed to us not only in the literal happenings of the plot, but also metaphorically through the states of his body, specifically the states of his hand. Before delving into its significance, here's a quick summary of the changes his hand goes through. We as the reader first meet Pettigrew as Scabbers the Rat. His animagus form is missing a toe, reflective of the finger he lacks in his human form. We learn that in 1981, at the end of the First Wizarding War, he cut off the index finger of his right hand in order to fake his death and his innocence. The next stage of the transformation occurs over 13 years after that in the Little Hangleton graveyard. Pettigrew sacrifices the remainder of his right hand as part of the potion to restore Voldemort. Then, lastly, on that same night, Voldemort gives Pettigrew a silver replacement for the hand he's lost. Though chronologically the loss of his finger is the first thing to occur, I want to begin by looking at the hand in general, and why J.K. Rowling may have chosen that specific body part. The hand is one of the most often symbolized human body parts, and thus comes loaded with meaning. And while, of course, meaning varies from culture to culture and even individual to individual, some aspects are prevalent across the board. The hand is a symbol of our influence in the world. Our brains may think it, our legs may take us there, but our hands commit the act. The hand may almost be said to speak. Do we not use them to demand, promise, summon, dismiss, threaten, supplicate, and so on? It's by the hand that humans complete their own and each other's bodies, by feeding, caring, and providing shelter. We use our hands to create our worlds, exploring and shaping our environments and our situations. In short, the hand is action. It is our agency. Pettigrew sacrifices his agency. First, he severs a portion of his hand, a finger, and spends the subsequent 12 years as someone's pet. He then gives up that hand completely to Voldemort. Pettigrew becomes a slave to Voldemort by his own hand, pun intended. He literally, but also symbolically, sacrifices his agency to Voldemort.
Flesh, the servant, willingly sacrificed.
Having looked at the hand in general, let's get into the specifics now. We know from the third and fourth books that Pettigrew did away with the index finger of his right hand, and then with his right hand entirely. These details are significant. The index finger is the most dominant finger and commonly symbolizes authority or leadership. More broadly speaking, though, it's symbolic of conviction. To save his own neck, Pettigrew sacrifices his index finger, having just sacrificed all conviction. He betrayed the people closest to him to the opposite side, who in turn don't ever truly see him as one of them because, again, he lacks any conviction, any real belief or loyalty that he's willing to stand by.
I returned out of fear, not loyalty.
When it comes to the right hand, there's a lot more to its symbology, but allow me to summarize. Robert Hertz's Death and the Right Hand argues that the dualism between the sacred and the profane has been imposed onto the right and left hand respectively, bolstering a social institution favoring the right. It is by our sacred right hands that we take oaths and conclude contracts. As Pettigrew performs this ritualistic sacrifice of his right hand, he loses all such capacities. To the right hand go honors, flattering distinctions, prerogatives. It acts, orders, and takes.
Hold out your arm, Master. Thank you, Master. The other arm, Wormtail.
Connotations of the left hand are quite the opposite. In the world of Harry Potter, the fact that a Death Eater's dark mark is on their left side is no coincidence. Consider that the word sinister today means suggestive of evil or darkness, but it comes from the Latin word which simply means the left side. Once Pettigrew sacrifices his venerable right side to the Dark Lord, all he's left with is his left hand, the hand historically despised and reduced to the role of a humble auxiliary. By itself, it can do nothing. It helps, it supports, which is the role he has reduced himself to. Like his remaining hand, all he can do now is serve. You may have noticed that in the movie clips from The Prisoner of Azkaban I've been showing, however, that Pettigrew's right index finger, though in need of a manicure, is perfectly intact. The filmmakers instead chose the ring finger of his left hand to be the one to bite the dust. I can't really say what this change was made to achieve. I suppose visually the absence of a finger in the middle is more immediately striking than the absence of a forefinger would have been. But sure, let's roll up our sleeves and see if we can read meaning into this as well, because as an English student, I've got nothing better to do. I've talked about the meanings attached to the left hand, but there's more to be said about the ring finger of the left hand specifically. In most Western cultures, this finger bears the engagement ring and/or the wedding ring. The popular story behind this is the traditional belief that the vena amoris, the vein of love, runs from the left hand's ring finger directly to the heart. Though this is inaccurate since all fingers have similar vein structures, meaning the ring finger isn't special in that regard, its significance as a symbol of love and marriage persists. So perhaps the absence of his left ring finger signifies Pettigrew's inability to love? After all, he sacrificed that finger after betraying two of his dearest friends, leading to their deaths, and framing a third one for it all. So, yeah, definitely an absence of love. Yeah, that's all I've got. The last development of Pettigrew's hand comes in the form of Voldemort's gift, a silver replacement for the hand Pettigrew sacrificed to him. As the books progress, it's evident in Pettigrew's appearances that the man is reduced simply to his hand, i.e., his servitude to Voldemort. "Yes, my lord," gasped a small man halfway down the table, who had been sitting so low in his chair that it had appeared at first glance to be unoccupied. Now he scrambled from his seat and scurried from the room, leaving nothing behind him but a curious gleam of silver. When considering the final act of Peter Pettigrew, it's the silver hand, his servitude to Voldemort, that has the last say in the matter. Though his right hand is attached to his body, he is not the master of it, just as he is not the master of himself.